Divas and gentlemen. Hi, guys. Welcome to my live or the recording. If you're watching the replay, welcome to you. Thank you for clicking on my video because you could have been anywhere else doing anything else, but you decided to land here and watch my video. So, thank you. Hello to everyone. I'm going to give you all a minute to come in. I'll give you guys a minute to come in. It always is like a rush of people that just come falling into the room and then they wean on out once they realize what I'm talking about. And most people don't want to hear what I'm talking about because it takes work to do what I'm talking about. And so most of the time they be like, oh God, she's talking too deep. And I don't want to hear that stuff. So I want to give you guys some time to come in. I am actually going live fairly early. This is not my usual time to go live. So I would love to see what today's live turn out to be. I'm excited. I am excited. I'm honestly really tired. My eyes are burning. My eyes are burning. I went live last night at about 9:40. And so if you didn't get to see that live, make sure you go back to the last video and watch that live. It was a really great message. If you do so, that message is for you. So make sure you take the time out to go and check that. Hit the like button. Share it with someone else that you believe should hear it. And yeah, I am completely out of breath. Baby is moving up higher, and so my wind is being taken super fast. So I always have to take my time and take my deep breaths and things like that. Oh my God, look at my view, guys. My view is so beautiful and abundant. Like, this is just like, oh, it's just so beautiful. I love. I love Georgia. Like, New York is not it. Like, New York is a great place to visit and to leave. Hello to whoever that is that just came in the room. New York is a great place to visit and to leave. But come on, look at this. This is like a view. Hi. Cyprian, I think that's how you pronounce your name. I hope I'm saying it right. But the view is just like, I can sit here and stare at the trees all day. Like, is there something about the abundance of the trees? Hi, Chris. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you, Chris. I'm just sitting here admiring my view. It's just like so absolutely breathtaking. I really don't want to go back to New York, but if I have to, I have to, but I don't want to. But I am going live a little bit earlier than I normally do, which is my normal time is usually 9:30, between 9:30 to 10. Hey, Sapphire. I hope I'm saying that right. Hey, Naira. And I just want to come and talk to you guys today because I had a group session with my interns and we spoke on something that, was very enlightening. And I just was in a great mood and I said, let me go make some new friends on YouTube and see where the consciousness is. And most people don't want to speak on growing. They don't want to hear about what it takes to grow because it sounds like it's so much work. But this life is really all about your growth, and being one with yourself and learning that God, where is God? The real question is, where is God? And most of us will say somewhere outside of us, right? But in all actuality, God is really within. God is really within. And that is the secret that most people don't like to share when they realize the truth. But, I am a truth teller. And so I was manifested on this earth to do exactly that. And I had to figure it out for myself. It took me damn near 28 years to figure it out myself. Um, and it wasn't an easy journey. And it wasn't an easy journey because I had to face the darkest parts of myself. I had to walk through that valley of the shadow of death by myself. And I had to make the decision to be practically the only one to do it around me. And when you're going through the valley of the shadow of death, right? And you have to do it alone. It feels like it's impossible. But I promise you, if you write out the word impossible and you separate the I am from possible, which is the rest of the word, you will get I'm possible. And so anything that you put your mind to, hi, M and L. Hi, Emma. Sorry. Hi, Emma. How you doing? If you separate the two words, it's really I'm possible. And so you are really possible to grow into the person that you truly desire to be. But the secret is that you have to do the hardest part, which is to grow. And most people don't want to grow. Most people are so accepting of being comfortable. And so being comfortable is really not that comfortable. And so because when you're comfortable, you're complacent. You're not changing, you're not growing, you're not stretching, you're not learning new things. You're literally in the hamster wheel. You're doing the same thing over and over and over again. And then one day you wake up and realize that, hey, BJ, you realize that doing the same thing over and over again is really not that comfortable. It's really like stagnating. And then that's when you decide, dang, I want to do something different. But then you allow fear to put you back in that comfortability. And then when you get back in that comfortability, now you're a complainer. You're a whiner. You're miserable. You're in the crowd of complainers. Then you start to realize you're attracting more people who's complaining. So instead of sitting there talking about growth conversations and having growth experiences and doing the things that people who are growing do, you're sitting there at the pity party. Right? Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, Emma. I pray for your sister. I pray she gets well. Um, Prayers out to your sister. You make sure you pray for your sister. Pray with your sister. And keep her in high spirits. But going through that valley by yourself is really, it can be scary. And so something that I've learned on my own journey is to find myself a mentor, find myself a coach, find myself someone who did it already. You know what I mean? And I searched first within, like, dang, I know I could do this. I know I want to do this. I know I have to do this. I now have children, and so if I continue to stay comfortable, my life will continue to look the same. I will continuously not have any time for my child. I will continuously be in a mindset of misery. I will continuously perpetrate this same life in the next generation. And so I had to break the curse of fear of being the outcast, being the one that changed, being the one that did something different, right? And so in choosing to be that person who did something different, being in the space of not really caring what people said, or growing in myself to not care what people said about me or think about me, while I decide to figure out what my journey looks like in this new space, right? Which is uncomfortable because I'm growing, right? I continuously grow. But in the growth, I found a mentor. I didn't just find one mentor, I found more than one mentor. I found more than one coach. And what I noticed is that the more I poured into myself, The more money I spent on self, the more money I spent on my mindset, the more I grew. And the further and further down the valley I got, right? And then I started to realize, like, being comfortable ain't fun. Because being comfortable, I didn't know nothing. Being comfortable, I was scared of everything. Being comfortable, I was angry at the wrong people. Being comfortable, I didn't know that God was within me and that he wasn't sitting in the sky somewhere watching me and judging me and condemning me, right? Finding mentors showed me that everything that they did or do, I only admire them because I see myself in them. But in order for me to take myself out of them, I had to be and do the things to have the things that I seen in them, right? And so, man, the power of a mentor, the power of a coach, the power of just being guided is amazing. You don't realize that you're actually really stuck in the same hamster wheel, the same cycle, the same program that you've been living practically all your life. And it's only because you've been living in a state of fear. And fear, when you look at the different levels of consciousness, fear is at a low vibrational state of 100. Okay? And so you begin to live in grief, which is at a vibrational state of 75. And you live in grief because you are like mourning the fact that you're literally dying on a daily basis because you continuously not deciding to go beyond your fear, to break past the terror barrier, right? And the moment that you break past the terror barrier, you you start to desire new things, right? You go from a level of 100 to a vibrational level of 125, right? And you stop becoming the victim and being abused, right, by your level of consciousness, right? You stop being a victim. You start saying, okay, you know what? I got this. I could do this. So now you get angry because the things that you're desiring is not manifesting fast enough for you, right? But even though they're not manifesting fast enough, the fact that you decided to consciously shift and say, where I am right now is not where I want to be, but I have desires to be over there. You get angry, but in your anger, right, is when you're at your stupidest, right? So you have to consciously take that anger and change it into fuel, right? Change it into fuel that becomes your pride. It becomes your pride, right? And you get to a vibrational state of 175 now. So now you're vibrating a little bit higher and you're allowing your pride to guide you. Okay, what feels good? Does this feel good being comfortable? Does it feel good not knowing or having direction on which way to go? Does it feel good doing it by myself? Do I need somebody's help? And if I get somebody's help who did it already or who's currently doing it, will I feel better about myself? So you start walking out. You start walking in the direction of your desires with a little bit of anger of where you were or where you are, and you let your pride guide you. Your ego starts to talk to you, but your ego, the funny thing about your ego is that your ego will have you questioning yourself. Like, am I good enough to be doing what I think that I'm about to do? Am I good enough to change the program? Am I worthy of having the thing that I desire? And is it worth giving the money that I work so hard for to someone else to get me to my desire faster? Is it worth? It starts all becoming about worth, right? And then if you continuously say, I don't want to be comfortable, I want to grow, I'm gonna grow, right? You start going higher in your consciousness. You start vibrating at a higher frequency. And that next frequency is the level of courage, right? You start vibrating at a conscious level of 200, right? So now you have doubled, right, your consciousness from 100, which is fear, the lowest, right? Well, not the lowest, but very low in the third dimension, right? Very condensed, very heavy, right? And you start vibrating at a level consciousness double of what you were before. And now you got some courage. You say, no, I can do this. I am going to do this. This is what I need to do. Because I have desires. And I was fearful of the things that I desired. I was fearful to step out of the box that I was placed in. I was fearful of being the change. I was fearful of changing the program. I was fearful of changing the dial. I was fearful that no one would show up for me. I was fearful that I wouldn't have anyone listening to me. I was fearful. But now I have the courage to change what I can, right? I have the courage to do what I put my mind to, right? I have the courage to step out of the box and be who I truly desire to be. I have the courage to make a change in this world. I have the courage to change my own world, right? And so I'm going to give you I'm going to give you um I'm going to give you a prayer um to help you when you decide to get to the level of 200 in frequency. Um but deciding to change, to shift to the deciding to change to shift deciding to shift for real is going to be a mindset, right? And so you have to consciously um give me 1 second, y'all. Okay, so you have to consciously be ready to have the courage to do what I'm about to read to you, okay? And so the way that this serenity prayer statement, um oh, this is not it either. Hold on. I know it by heart, but I don't want to chop and screw it. Okay, I want to read it verbatim, okay? And so before I give you the wording of serenity, the serenity prayer or statement that um helped change my life, right? When I got to the conscious level of courage, right? The frequency of 200, right? Um I seen this as a kid, as a child in my grandmother's bedroom, my great grandmother's bedroom, and I read it. And when I read it, it didn't really dawn on me what it meant. But as I started to grow in my frequency and learning that it's me who really changed my reality, right? This serenity statement literally lives with me day in and day out, okay? And so here's how it goes. God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Oh my God. Do you know how powerful that statement is? I'm going to read it again. God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change. Let's stop right there. Grant me the serenity to accept what I can't change, because this life really is what it is, right? Like, it is either bad or it's either good. However you want to flip the coin, it is what it is, right? And so to have the serenity, the peace of mind, to know that you have to accept that it is what it is and you can't change it. Oh my God, that is peace in itself. The first line is peace in itself. Okay, I can't change this thing. So why am I going to sit here and continue to complain, to whine, to fuss and to foam about what I can't change? That doesn't make any sense, right? It is insanity in itself, right? And so when you go to the next line, courage, remember the word courage, that's a consciousness, right? That is a conscious shift in yourself. That's a conscious awareness in yourself. That's a conscious decision that you have to make, to have the courage to change the things that I can. So you have possibly been in a state of comfortability, but you've been living, remember, in a frequency of fear this whole time, not even contemplating what you desire, not even believing that you have desires, right? But then when you realize, okay, I have desires, you get angry because all this time you've been allowing fear to stop you from achieving or creating goals to reach those desires or to have those desires, right? But now you have the courage, right, to use your pride and alchemize that anger that you've been holding all this time of not doing what you know you should be doing to achieve the desires that you've really been wanting all your life, right? And so now you take the courage, right, that you have now, and the serenity, right, to change the things that you can. And so what are some of the things you can change to get from being comfortable and get in a space of uncomfortability so that you can change the paradigm, the program, the results you've been getting your past life, right? Because now it's your past life, because now you're in a frequency that is double of where you were. So now you were down here, but now you're up here and you're vibrating at a higher frequency with a different consciousness of, like, I got the courage to do this, but how can I do this is now the new question, right? And so let that question marinate. How? Let it marinate. Because what happens is, as it's marinated, it becomes seasoned. It becomes the journey, right? The new journey that you're now walking down, going through, experiencing, right? And so when you sit down and you think about it, the how really doesn't matter. Because if you think about it, when you were living in a conscious state of fear, the how didn't matter, right? Because you was programmed and you was living out the program perfectly fine at one point because you were comfortable, right? And so you allowed the fear to dictate the how. So use that same energy, right, with a new frequency and a new conscious level, and allow the how to come to you versus you trying to figure it all out at once now that you decided to change the dial, right? And so you're in a conscious level of courage. Cool. So now you're changing the things you can. What are some of those things you can change right now? Maybe changing your program on what you do when you first wake up. What do you do when you first wake up? Is the first thing you do grab your phone? Is the first thing you do look at emails? It's the first thing you do is answer the phone for someone that you know is going to put you in a negative frequency and bring you back down from having the courage of changing things you can? Is it waking up to the same thing you went to sleep to that had such a heavy, nasty, negative energy to it, right? So looking at your program on what do you do when you first wake up? Okay, maybe try to meditate. Maybe take a nice hot shower or cold shower, depending on where you are and what your body needs, right? Maybe making yourself some coffee. Sit down at the table. Take 5 minutes to just stop and hear yourself, right? What does the rest of your day look like? Have you ever tried to create a day for yourself mentally? Have you ever tried to change what you can versus just allowing things to happen to you because you're out of alignment and you're in a very low frequency, right? God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can. So right now, I want you to create a plan for what your day looks like for the rest of this day, right? Whatever time zone you're in, change the things that you can. And the thing that you can change is your conscious level, okay? And then the wisdom to know the difference. Oh my God. And the wisdom to know the difference is the most powerful part of the whole statement, because when you don't have the wisdom to know what you can change and what you can't change, you will be constantly stuck in the hamster wheel. You will be constantly trying to fix problems that has nothing to do with you. You will constantly be trying to fix people that don't want fixing. You will constantly be trying to um just change the wrong things. And the real masterpiece and the oh, I got a phone call. I'm sorry. Um Something that I couldn't change. I had to answer that call. But the wisdom to know the difference is the most powerful part of that serenity statement, right? And so now we are at a state of courage, right? So now you can move into the frequency of neutrality, right? Which is a frequency vibration level of 250 now, right? So now you're in a neutral state of change, right? And so you're focusing on all the good things that can change in your life. That is changing in your life. You're walking down a new valley, right? You're not you have less fear, because fear is not always so bad, right? Fear helps us navigate through this life. It gives us the it's like it's a prompting of don't walk down that block, walk down this block. It's a navigational system, right? And so cool, we got the navigational system prompting us with a little bit of fear, but it's neutral because you now trust yourself. Okay, because now you have goals that you set, you have desires that you want to reach and manifest, you have the courage to change the things that you can. And so now you're at a state of neutrality, right? And you're changing little things, right? Like your daily routine, your daily habits, the company that you're keeping, because the company that you're keeping is a major aspect of shifting, right? And so you then start vibrating a little higher, because now you're at a neutral state of being, right? And you have the willingness, right? New frequency, new level of consciousness, 310, right? And so now you're vibrating in the fourth dimension, right? You have ascended beyond the reality that you currently see, which is the third dimension, right? The third dimension is all the chaos, all the things you can't control, all the people who are negative and have their own pity parties and don't change anything and do the same routine over and over, and nothing's really working for them, right? That's the third dimension, but you're in the fourth dimension now, because now you have the willingness to change the things that you can, right? And now you're getting mentors. Now you're getting coaches. Now you're joining courses. Now you're going to webinars. Now you're reading books, right? Now you're watching the videos that align better with your vibration, your frequency, your conscious level, right? Now you're listening to those who are speaking your new language, right? Because of course, if you stay in the third dimension, the new language won't make any sense to you either, right? And that's why it's not making sense to any of the people that you left in the third dimension, because they can't hear it. They don't understand the new life you're trying to live. They don't understand why you don't want to do the same thing you've been doing that seems like it was comfortable and it seems like it was working for you. Now you don't want to do that. You want to go down a new lane and be in the valley and the dark. You want to face the dark. You want to do something different? Why? It's a new language to them. You're in the fourth dimension. You're not even on a dimension with them. You're not even really vibrating with them. You are like in a fast car and they're riding on bikes at this point, right? And so while they're riding on their bikes, they're yelling at you like, yo, come back because you're wilding. Like, we don't even know what you're talking about anymore. You're talking gibberish to us because you're vibrating and you're consciously aware of something that we can't meet you at. So come back. Be the same old you that was depressed and annoyed and frustrated, and come and talk to us so we can be in the same pity party. But you're willing to not go back there. You're willing to do something different. And so now you come to a place of acceptance that, listen, I can't go back there no more. I'm in a new frequency, new dimension. I'm doing something different. Okay? And even though it's uncomfortable, even though it's not something that I'm used to, I'm facing new things about myself and realizing things about myself that I didn't even know existed. I didn't even know that I had the courage to become better. I didn't even know I had people in this world who really love me. I didn't even know I had people in this world that would listen to me. I didn't know that I had people in this world that would understand that I didn't want the same program anymore. I didn't even know that there was a new program that I could be living out of. I didn't know. It starts unlocking all of these other doors that you didn't know you had the key to the whole time. You had the keys the whole time, but you didn't know because you were vibrating so low, and the only key that you had was the one that was given to you for somebody else's door. Okay? And so now you're in the place of acceptance, and then you start vibrating higher. Okay? You start vibrating at a sense of new humanity consciousness, right? Where this is a new frequency. This is a place of newness for you. This is a place of just everything just feeling like, okay, it's tough, but I got the courage to continue on my journey because I know that this is something that I'm creating. This is something that's for me, right? And so now you're at you're at a frequency of 400. So now you have doubled, right, your frequency, right? And you are now vibrating so much higher. You're vibrating double of your courage vibration. Okay? Your frequency of 200, you're now at a 400. Seeing your inner light and trusting yourself, right? You are now vibrating in a space of I am powerful. I am becoming who I desire to be. I am growing. This starts to feel like paradise because now you're living out of a space of what you truly desire, right? You're truly manifesting in a way of acceptance. Like, okay, I used to be there, but I don't want to go back there. There's a way out. There's a new out. There is a new me. There is a new everything that I can be. There's a new everything I can have. There's a newness everywhere. I don't have to do the same thing I've been doing, right? And the good part about it is that now you have mentors to keep you on your path. You have coaches that keep you on your path. You have now a little bit of the how, right? Because of course the how is going to keep on unlocking through every door and every key that you keep on entering, right? With every key and door you keep on entering, right, you're going to start to realize that there's more and more and more. It's never like you get to the inner light and I'm here, I made it. No. Every new level is the beginning of the next level. And so, yes, you may reach the top floor, but trust me, there's another floor for you to go to. So now you're going to keep on climbing. And so that is the beauty of going through the dimensions of vibration and frequency and aligning your frequency with where you currently are now. Because if you know that you're in a place of shame, you're at the bottom of the totem pole. You're shameful of yourself. That is horrible. And that is not a place for anyone to live forever. Okay? And so if you are anywhere below the frequency of courage, let me tell you something. I've been there. And I know how it feels. It doesn't feel good. It sometimes hurts. It sometimes hurts. Most of the time, it hurts. And most of the time, we want out. And so the good thing about it is that on my journey of getting out, right, and going down the valley that I decided to go down, I feared, but not evil. I just feared the newness, right? But I got coaches and I got mentors that walked with me. And so the fear wasn't like I was alone. I literally had the encouragement of so many different mentors. Some of my mentors, Les Brown, let's speak on them. Lynn Richardson. I had Bob Proctor, Jim Ron, Miss Skittles, and other little mentors that I had in between. I had Miss Pam, which was my realtor. She was a mentor. Charged me nothing. No, she did charge me. She charged me for her time, but it was the bare minimum because she was a part of my journey. You understand? And so, so many mentors. So many mentors. Some of them I don't even remember because it was just a part of my journey. So the how really didn't matter. They were just along the how, right? And so doing the work on myself, literally, I can come and speak to you in a place of confidence, to give you the courage, to pull you up, okay? Because when you vibrate high, you're only vibrating high to turn around and pull somebody. That's how real it is, okay? My camera went blank. When you get to a higher frequency, you are supposed to turn around and pull someone else with you. And so I'm at a state of pulling other people with me to my new frequency. But, okay, if you don't put your hand out for me to grab, I'm not going to come down and grab you, okay? I'm only grabbing people whose hand is out, looking to vibrate higher, who has a desire, right, to come from out of fear and go to a new frequency, a new high, a new place of knowing that they deserve what they desire and will eventually gain the courage to do that with, like I said, a mentor, a coach, somebody who already did it, who already is out of that frequency, who you can look at and know and hear because you have the ears to hear that that person is living in a higher frequency. So, hey, listen, help me. And so I have created a platform called Diva Iam University. It is a mindset shift course / class. The class begins on July 7th. So check the description box if you are ready to be pulled out of the lower vibrational frequency of shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, right? And start living in your true desires, right? So that you can be vibrating higher and actually manifesting and aligning to the things that your heart truly desires. And so I say all of that to say a little reminder to you. When you are in a state of fear, ask God to grant you the serenity to accept the things that you can't change, because you can't change it. There's no changing it. Okay, it is what it is. Okay? The courage to change the things that you can. So in that same aspect of things that you cannot change, think about what you can't change. And 9 times out of 10, the thing that you can't change is you. Right? And then the wisdom to know the difference between, are you changing you, or are you still trying to change the outcome of the thing that you can't change? God grant me the serenity to accept things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And I'm going to leave this here with you guys. I may come back at about 9:30 to 10 o'clock, between that hour, to talk to you again, if God grants me the opportunity to do so. And if it's his will, I will see you guys then. Stay beautiful, live in bliss, find you a mentor, get you a coach, even if it's not me. But I pray that it is, so that I can be a part of your journey, your enlightenment, your vibrational high. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in class on July 7th. Woo, at 8 p.m. It's going to be 21 days of enlightenment. It's going to be 21 days of straight talk of growing and figuring out who we truly are. It is 21 days of breaking free of the chains that have been placed on us, the bondages, the programs, learning who we truly desire to be, because some of us don't even know who we truly desire to be. We don't even have a goal. Okay. And so, man, 21 days of beautifulness. Okay. Growth, new humanity. That is where I desire to leave you, with a new humanity, okay? A new outlook on life, a new journey, all of that good stuff. And so 21 days, 2 hours a day with me, Monday through Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I will be showing up to class at 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., guiding you on how to vibrate just a little bit higher and a little bit higher and a little bit more higher than what you're vibrating now, okay? So again, live in peace, stay beautiful, also live in bliss, and I will see you guys maybe later or on the next one. Peace!